Okay, today after our winter break, we are going to start our second term about the macroeconomics in our AS level. So, macroeconomics means it is the study of the economy as a whole. We study the economic variables at the national level. Alright, now what is meant by the national income? It is the income of the whole nation. Yesterday we were talking about what are the macroeconomic objectives. In those objectives, I talked about the GDP growth or national income growth. So the first topic which we are going to study in macroeconomics, that is about what is meant by national income of a country and how to measure this national income, and we will try to measure it accurately, and if national income is measured accurately, then we will be able to set other economic targets with respect to national income or GDP growth of the country, like tax target, national debt management, or current account deficit with respect to percentage of GDP. So all these things, they depend upon how accurately a country has measured its national income. So how can we define the national income? It is the income of whole nation in a given time period. What I said? It is income of the whole nation which is measured in a given time period. Usually we measure national income in one fiscal year. And what is the fiscal year? Like in Pakistan, our fiscal year starts from July 1st till the 30th June of the next year. For example, now we are in the fiscal year of 2022, from the 1st July of 2022 till June 30th of 2023. Within this year, how much national income is produced? That is our national income of this fiscal year.
So the date is determined through the budget allocation. The date is determined through the
Yes.
budget allocation.
That how we are going to allocate budget tax revenues in the country. That is the in one fiscal year. So national income is what? It is the income of whole nation. It is income of whole nation in a given time period, in a given year, in a given year. Alright, now come towards what are the different statistics, what are the different methods of measuring national income. So there are three methods to measure national income, to measure national income or national output, national income or output. What are those three methods? One is called output method, and second is called what? Income method, and third is called what? Expenditure method. What it is? Expenditure method. For example, in this case we say a country has produced the output. For example, one firm or many firms, they have produced the leather garments. Okay. So if we measure the value of those leather garments, that is the output method. We have measured the output produced by all those firms. And now whatever the output is produced, their income is divided among the factors of production. Like the workers who are working in those factories, they are getting wages and salaries. The landowner or the factory owner of that area will be getting the rent of that land or factory. And if capital is borrowed, that capital lender is getting interest, and the rest is the profit of entrepreneur. So if we add up all the incomes which are generated in that firm, or we measure the value of the total output, we will reach to the same figure. Alright? And those who are buying these products, so consumers, those who are buying these produced items, they are spending their income on that products. Alright? So if we measure the expenditures of the consumers, whatever the expenditures are made on the output produced, or we measure the income of all factors of production, or we measure the value of output, we will reach to the same figure. So all these three methods will give us the same value. Like what is the value of output, how this output is divided into income of the factors of production, and how consumers have spent their income on buying those goods and services. Okay, the first method is output method. So in output method we use different statistics. For example, we use GDP and then GNI, and then we measure NDP, and then we will measure what? NNI. GDP means gross domestic product. What it is? Gross domestic product. Okay. GNI means gross national income. National income. And NDP means net domestic product. And what is NNI? This is net national income. Alright, these are the abbreviations of these phrases. Like GDP stands for gross domestic product, GNI for gross national income, NDP net domestic product, and NNI net national income. Now how can we define GDP? First of all, GDP means what? Gross means what? Gross means total. Domestic means within a country, within the geographical boundaries of a country, and product means output produced. So it can be defined. It is the total value of final goods and services. Final goods and services produced by a country in a given year. By a country in a given year. Total value, how many goods a country has produced in one given year. We measure the value of all those goods and services. And what are those? At which value we are measuring? Do you think we will take the market price to measure the value of goods and services?
Yes.
Okay. Market prices are inclusive of indirect taxes, and taxes are not part of national income. Clear? So what we will use? We will use the factor cost value. What value we are going to use? Factor cost value. How to reach to the factor cost value? Factor cost value means market price of the product minus indirect tax plus subsidy, if any. If government has provided a subsidy, we will add that subsidy, but we will deduct indirect taxes from the market prices. So this is the value at which we are going to measure the GDP of a country. This is the factor cost value, because indirect taxes are not part of national income or GDP, but subsidies, they are given by the government. They will be having increasing GDP value. Okay, now we talked about the final goods and services. What are those services? Final goods. There can be three stages of production: primary, secondary, tertiary. Clear? So if we take all the values of primary goods, then they are converted into secondary stage and then to the tertiary stage. So our GDP will be overstated. I think Final goods means, for example, we are having wheat to produce bread. Wheat. Alright. Wheat value is 1000. When it is converted into flour, its value goes to 1500. Same wheat. Now it is converted into bread for the final consumption. Its value, the same wheat which was used as raw material, now its value is 2000. If we take all these values, we say GDP is 4500. But actually this is not the case, because final good is the bread. Final good is what? Bread. If we take wheat, then it is converted into flour, then wheat will be double counted or more than double counted. GDP value will be overstated. So we have to take the final good value, or we have to use the value added method. What is value added method? When we took the wheat, its value was 1000. When it is converted into flour by the flour mills, that is actually manufacturing. So how much value is added?
500.
And now it goes to the bakery, where he added the value of 500 to the same wheat. So here we are having this value. Now the total value of output produced is 2000. If we took this value, that is a wrong one, that is overstatement. So we have to take the final goods value, or we have to, in order to avoid double counting, usually we use what? Value added method to measure. And if value added tax is imposed, so that tax will be imposed wherever the value is added to the product. So that will have a 3 stages of indirect tax, and it will have more inflationary effect in the economy when value added tax is imposed. Clear? Now come towards why a country. In our country, we are not only Pakistanis who are producing this output. There are many foreign companies which are operating over here. Many foreigners, Chinese, Sri Lankans, they are also producing their incomes in our country. So whatever the output is produced, either by Pakistani nationals or by the foreigners, within our geographical boundaries, that is part of our GDP. There is no distinction that we have only to include the income produced by or output produced by the Pakistanis in case of GDP. And in a given year, I explained to you earlier that in one fiscal year we measure this GDP. Clear? Now what is meant by GNI? Gross National Income. So it is the total value of national income earned by the nationals of a country in a given year. What is GNI? Clear? What is GNI? If I say, what is meant by GNI? GNI means gross national income. Now I took BGNI. It is the total value of national income earned or produced by the nationals of a country. Nationals of a country in a given year. Country in a given year. Now how to calculate GNI? First our departments, they calculated GDP. So what is GNI? GNI means GDP plus net property income from abroad. Do you know what does it mean? From abroad. What does it mean? It means many Pakistanis, they are working abroad and they are sending their incomes.
Remittance.
remittances, workers' remittances to their homeland. Their families are residing over here. So whatever income inflows are coming from other countries to our economy, they are added. Either it is in the form of workers' remittances, or it is the rent of an apartment, or it is dividend on the shares which are traded in New York Stock Exchange. Any type of income which Pakistani nationals or Pakistani factors of production they are bringing to our economy. So that it is actually the income of only the nationals, and whatever the income is earned or produced by the foreigners over here, and that income is sent to their home countries, that is deducted. So foreigners' income which is sent back to their home countries, the multinational profit which is transferred to their home countries, these things are deducted, whereas the income of our workers or Pakistani multinationals which are operating in other countries, their profits are added. That's why we have written GDP plus net income from abroad. If more income is coming from abroad than it is going abroad, so our GNI size will be higher than GDP. If more income is added to our circular flow of national income from abroad than it is going outward, our GNI size will increase. And if more income is sent abroad from here than it is coming to our country, then our GNI size will be lower than GDP. Clear? So GNI, how to calculate? First, we have to take only the nationals, not anyone else. Whether they are working here in our country or working abroad, or our factors of production like apartments, they are going to have this thing. Okay, net domestic product, NDP. What is meant by NDP? It is net domestic product. We know that many of our assets they depreciate over the period of time. Many capital goods they have wear and tear. Okay, depreciation means wear and tear of the capital goods. We also give it a name, the capital consumption allowance. Capital is eating itself. So how to reach to the NDP? This is GDP minus depreciation of the capital goods. So when we deduct the depreciation of the capital goods, we will reach to NDP, net domestic product. And if same depreciation is deducted from GNI, then it will become net national income. First of all, we measure GDP, then we reach towards GNI, and from GNI, if we are deducting depreciation, then it will become net national income of a country in a given time period. Clear or not? So we started from the introduction of national income, that is, it is the income of whole nation. Then we talked about what are the different methods of measurement. Okay, so out of that we studied only one of the methods today, that is the output method. How to reach to the national income? By using the output method, we measure different statistics like GDP, GNI, NDP or NNI. All these are part of the syllabus, and tomorrow I will be doing the rest of the two methods like income and expenditures method. Then we will proceed further. Okay.